this is still Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. We'll be touching base with Felicity Appiah-Ampofo pretty shortly as she updates us on what the weather will be like today. You know that the entire week has been very rainy. Already there's some, snipers of sunlight around. But of course, we'll get the details from Felicity Appiah-Ampofo when she joins us. But after Felicity Appiah-Ampofo, we'll get into the paper review segment, of course, as we delve into the papers in front of us, the trending stories in the country. And then we'll hear from you on Community Voices segment. We'll give you the microphone like we always say. We'd love to hear from you at the right time. Talk to us, share with us what is on your heart, what change you want to see, what is affecting your community. We'll be glad to share them with the rest of the world as we help seek answers to the questions you have. And then we'll bring you some sports news to all the Manchester United fans. We, the Again Supporters Union, we are very happy this morning. If you're watching football on a rainy evening and you are against one team, Charlie, and it turns out that the team you were against lost, there's no better feeling. The whole world, we are all Tottenham Hotspur fans. All Manchester United fans, I'd love to say good morning to you. Take heart, yeah? We'll see you next season. Somebody give him a shout of praise. But while we wait for Felicity Appiah-Ampofo, let's get into the newspaper review segment, starting with the New Republic newspaper. On the front page, it says, CJ family bag juicy contracts in shady deals. That's according to the New Republic newspaper. It says commuters hail new AMA boss. That story is on page 3 of the paper. But the banner headline is CJ family bag juicy contract in shady deals. Also on the front page of the New Republic, Ogbodu's ghost back to haunt. Mother accuses Bawumia of betrayal and lies. The story is on page 2 of the paper. Also, Mahama vows to tackle Accra flooding crisis on page 9 of the New Republic newspaper. I'll take you to the I'll take you to the Daily Democrat newspaper. On the front page, Sami Jainfi challenges Bawumia. The story is on pages 2, 3, and 8 of the Daily Democrat newspaper on Forex and gold strategy. Also on the front page, Ghana launches Cocoa Farmers Alliance Africa chapter. SIC agents hail James Ajenin Boateng and George Otibunsu honored with PhD Global Award. These are the stories that the Daily Democrat is reporting on its front page. And quickly to the Daybreak newspaper, CD performance, Mahama rules, but Bawumia's ideas reign. That's according to Dr. Gideon Buak, who is Member of Parliament for Tano North. He's the one saying this, that Mahama rules, but Bawumia's ideas reign. Also on the front page, suspended CJ petitions Supreme Court to block 2 justices from the removal case. Plus, SML sparks anger over procurement breaches. Comes with a picture of SML Managing Director Christian Soti. Coming up in the paper also, Agrada Dollars, House Immediate Fee sealed the mouths of NPP communicators. That's according to the Daybreak newspaper. Let's take a few papers from Helen and then we'll continue. Helen,
Crosby,
good to see you. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm all right. Let me just catch my breath. My goodness. Thankfully, it's Friday, Junior, so no complaints there.
You know how Thursdays are like, Charlie. Yeah. You can taste, you can smell Fridays.
That's why we call it Friday, Junior. Friday Junior is here. I hope you have some big plans as we enter the weekend. The Hawk newspaper, this one we get every now and again. Some of these headlines. All right. Article 71 elites score 81% rise in pay. It says big pay for big men. NPA rolls out better pay plan for tanker drivers. Sami Jainfi rebuffs Bawumia City stability claim. And I saw that post on X from the acting. I don't know if he's still acting now that the Gold board has been constituted.
So yesterday I was trying to find out what processes it goes through for you to leave the acting state to like substantive appointment. I think now he is proper.
All right, so Gold board, they're back in the news. From Accra to Lagos, Lome and Abidjan, police chase criminals across borders. And you've got IGP Christian Tete Yohonu on the front page. The Citizen newspaper, 140,246 people in Ashanti region have hypertension. Okay, not good. Yesterday we were talking about high blood pressure and why you should all get your pressure checked as regularly as possible. Cosmas Damien Hospital abetted convict to escape jail. Okay, that's captured on page 3. Fight against illegal mining cannot be achieved without chiefs' support. That's coming from the DCE. And don't renew Jato's contract. Government advice. The Supreme newspaper this morning has this to say: election fraud allegations rock Ahafo, Annan North Municipal Assembly. Ghana Water Company MD admits no contract was signed with Edubuahene. No money was paid to him. Ghana Gold Board to curb smuggling, boost forex and stabilize the city. And that's coming from Dr. Forson, who is the finance minister. Minority raises alarm. Electricity crisis erodes confidence in economic promises. We've got the National Enquirer here. Pay us our money. EC contract workers, media houses chase Jean Mensah. This is some allegations that have been swirling that EC contract workers
after
now
the
7 months on.
Yes, they say they have not been paid.
They're still waiting for their remuneration.
And then before even the election, so we asked the Electoral Commission about concerns that these contract staff usually do not get their payments, and we're assured that their monies the arrangements have been made to provide them their monies, even some before the exercise begins and some after. So there's some way that after 7 months, they are still yet to be paid.
Plenty somewhere, but a few more stories here on the National Enquirer. City stability will continue, BOG assures. Sami Jemfi credits Mahama for strong city performance, and Interior Minister tours Northern region to foster peace and security. Quickly though, the National Enquirer's front page story. You've got the Bank of Ghana governor here on the front page, Dr. Johnson Isiama. He says there is no need to panic over the city fluctuating frustratingly. The Bank of Ghana says it will intensify key reforms. Key reforms. I thought they said the story was continuing on page 3.
You have to behave like 60
All right, well, Dr. Johnson Isiama believes the next phase of reforms will focus on sustaining foreign exchange inflows and tightening regulatory oversight in the forex market. He was speaking at the opening of the bank's 124th Monetary Policy Committee meeting on Wednesday. That's yesterday at the Bank Square. Lastly, he says the city has appreciated sharply by nearly 19% between April and May, helping to ease imported inflation pressures and restore public confidence. We're all asking, should we be anticipating even further strengthening of the city? How long is this going to last? Or are we in a dream? Am I dreaming?
You want to slap yourself and wake up.
I don't know.
Yesterday when I checked the city, it was around 11.95, but before that it had gone to 11.89, and then it came to 11.95.
A lot of us are not watching like the pound sterling. That too is seeing some beautiful and impressive.
Now bogus cannot be bogus again.
Oh, but those of us who want to be bogus, we are now the bogus in town.
Charlie, there's a headline in front of the Observer newspaper. I like it. The story is on page 3. This is the headline, Helen. IT expert in government, economist in opposition. You know who they're talking about?
I had this quote swirling. So I can't remember who said it, but I think it was Solomon Owusu.
Yes, so Solomon
member of
Owusu.
Movement for Change. He's speaking about Dr. Baumia. He was on our TV network, TV3, on The Big Issue.
Anyway, still on the front page of the Observer newspaper, no fee stress. Over 41,000 students complete registration. That's according to government spokesperson and Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwachi Ofosu. And NHI disburses additional 259 million cedis in claims within 21 days. Supreme Court dismisses injunction against CJ's removal in a 4-1 ruling, and Semi Jemfi credits city gains to government action. Sixtus, good morning. What do you have?
Daily Guide newspaper, Ghana's favorite newspaper, says CJ Tokono sues government over suspension, wants 2 judges restrained. Minister directs Lands Commission to decentralize operations. And you have Mahama car gifts undermine ethics. Ethics code, that's Transparency International. I don't know which particular one they are talking about, whether the code in itself or the 2 cars he was gifted and he donated to the state.
No. I understand you're referring to the cars the president is using now.
Okay, so there's the story is on page 6. The cars he's using now?
Yes.
As in his official vehicles?
Yes.
They are his personal vehicles?
No, that's... Let's read the story.
Okay. If we must... President John Dramani Mahama has been sharply criticized by Transparency International Ghana over his decision to accept 2 vehicles as gifts recently.
Continue.
Okay. Michael Boedi, fundraising manager at Transparency International Ghana, in an interview on Joy FM's Super Morning Show yesterday, said the move is a contradiction of the ethical standards outlined in the president's own code of conduct for public appointees. And there's a direct quote: I think that the president's accepting the 2 cars in the first place undermined his code of conduct right from the onset. He undermined his own principles and standards that he has set for his own appointees. He who comes to equity must come with clean hands. I'm still looking for more. Okay. Mr. Boedu also questioned how the president could enforce the code of conduct when he received high-value gifts of 20,000 Ghana cedis. According to him, okay, so there's another quote. Let me pick that. The presidency has enough pool of cars. They don't need extra cars. He could have said, thank you, but please donate this to an institution. There are lessons that exist that our leaders should have drawn from. Appointees are prohibited from accepting gifts exceeding 20,000 Ghana cedis, yet the president appears to be held to a different standard. I'm still struggling to get, because we know that the cars, or we were told that the cars were received. One.
Yes.
2, the cars were onwardly distributed
To the state.
to the states. So the state doesn't mean the presidency.
Yes, that's
so
true.
I'm really struggling to get the exact point that would say that he violated the code of conduct.
So this is their thinking. Well, this is my thinking. So the cars value, they are over the threshold stipulated by the president.
Certainly.
So the president has received it. What they're saying is maybe he should not have received it in the first place, regardless whether he has received and then declared and then transferred or something. It should not even have been received.
One of the quotes I read said that he should have told them to donate it to an institution.
Without receiving it first.
Without receiving it first.
So they just didn't want the president to receive
I'm
it.
not sure the code of conduct says we shouldn't receive gifts.
No, that's not what the code of conduct says.
Exactly.
But
So I'm saying that our interest right now, humbly, should be finding out where the cars eventually landed.
No, I think our interest should be the gift and the receipt.
No.
No, because
The code of conduct did not say appointees should not receive gifts.
that is true. But
That's not what it
it told you
says.
the kind of gifts to receive.
No.
The code of conduct
No.
told you.
It says the code of conduct says that gifts exceeding
Yes, so the kind of gifts.
20,000 Ghana cedis must be disclosed not as received. Not received.
Right,
but
okay.
receive it, disclose it.
And then what?
Then the processes will kick in. I don't know. I'm just speaking to what we have been told or what we know from the code of conduct. So if the president will be receiving a lot of gifts, then we are saying effectively that the president shouldn't receive any gift at all. And nobody is going to give the president a gift that is below 20,000 Ghana cedis. I mean, even when the president goes into these regional tours, district tours, that at the end of the day, the gifts that they receive, I know if you are a big man, as we say, if you are a big man and you visit my village, we can give you a cow. How much is a cow? So the president shouldn't receive it. So I think that the interest really should not be in that the president received the cars. The interest should be where the cars eventually ended up. So that if the president told all of us in public that, pursuant to the provisions of the Code of Conduct, I am not going to be utilizing these myself, I will donate it. And it was a chief of staff who received the cars from what we saw in the news. So I will donate this to a state institution. What we don't know, and what I will agree with Mr. Boedi, would be we don't know which state institution the cars went to. Maybe they just told journalists that we will donate it to the state, but somebody is using it privately. If that is the interest, I can agree. And I'll say, yes, let's ask more questions. But to say that the mere fact of receipt of the gift is in violation of the Code of Conduct, humbly, I disagree. Can we put aside the president's own Code of Conduct, the letter of the Code of Conduct, and look at the spirit behind the Code of Conduct? Why the spirit is causing confusion? Nothing is clear in the print. No, what spirit are you looking for? So what's the basis of Transparency International's concern? That is my question. You also think that is my question? There should be some value with their concern. Maybe some if they maybe come back, maybe expand, because I agree with Sixtus. Let's not enter the territory of absurdity. Let's be minded and guided. Presidents, not just the one in our republic, will receive gifts all throughout the year. His Excellency is going to receive gifts. He might receive all kinds of gifts. His Code of Conduct says once you receive a gift, make a declaration. And I suppose from then on, it will, as Sixtus says, whatever processes emerge after that. Where they do end up, I think, is also very, very key. I can understand that many of us, I always say this, are on edge, seem to be on tenterhooks. We are very alert to this sort of thing because of what has previously been experienced. So I don't begrudge anybody that extra vigilance, but I think it's a result of what we've seen over time. We are very distrustful, and we are on high alert because we know that in times past, maybe politicians will receive something from certain quarters, and then eventually they have to make good on some of these gifts, that come their way. I think maybe that's where we are seeming to operate from. So I don't blame anybody. We've seen Shege before. Allow the vigilance to flow. So what you see Crosby, it is offensive culturally to reject a gift. We are Ghanaians. As much as we are looking at standards, our standards should also be within a certain context that we as a people live in. It's like a democracy conversation we've been having, that we've gone to wholesale lift something from somewhere, we are forcing it into you can't, again, let me use the example of the chiefs. You can't come to my village, my chief will organize a whole deba. After that, they will donate a cow to you. Then you tell them that, I appreciate, but I cannot take it because of a certain code of conduct. It's an insult to the people. And we all know that. Because of the culture we're coming from. Because of our culture. You cannot reject gifts like that. So, yes, the gift has been given. The intention of the gifter matters. I agree. So, government spokesperson has been explaining why the president received it, or the thinking behind the gift. So, he says he explained the company's decision to give the president vehicles was part of an effort to promote electric cars in Ghana. 2 companies. The vehicles came from 2 companies. They use batteries, and then since it is modding,
the companies want to introduce this into the country. The cars were gifted to the president from the companies.
They use what? Batteries?
Yes.
All cars use batteries.
I mean, these are electric vehicles. One from a Ghanaian company, one from a Chinese operating firm in Ghana, who wanted the president to help promote the green energy initiative by using these vehicles. And by doing so, would encourage others to go in that direction, green energy transition.
Yes. So if the argument again is that these are multinational companies, and certainly they want to catch the eye of the president, so they donate a vehicle to the president or the presidency, that is fine. The presidency already has a pool of vehicles that it uses and will not need these 2 cars. That is also fair, an argument to make. So what should the presidency do? Minded that behind the plain intention of just gifting something to the presidency, the owners or managers or directors of the company could also have an ulterior motive. It's also a possibility. These things nobody can tell the mind of a man.
Even if you want the president to promote it, that's a motive.
That's also a motive. In fact, and the president, and if I were speaking for the company, I would say that the president's own energy ministry has been specifically named, tailored, green transitions. So, yes, the company could have equally given the cars to the ministry. Would we have had the same discussion? So, the point I'm making is that the question shouldn't be about whether or not the president or an appointee generally receives a gift. The question should be what eventually happens to that gift that has been disclosed and publicly declared as being utilized in one way or the other. If we eventually find out that they say, okay, there's a school for the deaf, or is it for the blind in Ekropong, or school for the deaf in Wa. They don't have a car. The headmaster has been trekking up and down on a bicycle. Let us give one of those cars to the headmaster of the school for the deaf in Wa. Publicly so disclosed. Then we eventually find out that a certain presidential staffer has been using the same car. Then we will all have issue and we will rise up against it. That, I think, should be the interest. But to say that don't receive, if you receive, the mere fact of the receipt of the gift in itself is a violation. Now, I think it is too much. There's another quote here, which I will agree with him. He says that the issue of clarity and specificity, take time, is important in the context of looking at gift giving. And that's all I'm saying, that there has to be clarity. We have to be clear on what that gift eventually, where it eventually ends up, and what it is eventually used for. So that we are not publicly covering news. Journalists will come and say, oh, the thing was donated. Meanwhile, somebody is using it. Maybe the president's brother is using it. Or the first lady's, I almost said first lady's daughter, as if that's not. Or the child of the president is using it.
Right.
These are the things that would then raise legitimate concerns. But to say that, I mean, the mere fact of receipt, no, I don't think that should be here.
And for any appointee, and even the president included, who is, receiving a gift, we would hope that some just level of common sense is also applied when you are receiving the gifts. If it is your wish to also have the optics not look shady, think about this gift. This gift, is it just if somebody wants to promote this? Am I going to get headache for even accepting this gift?
That is where the motive of the gifter comes.
So that if we
will
can
it be worth the struggle you go through?
Will it be worth? Somebody gives you a shiny. This is an example. For an appointee, you're in your office, you get a knock on the door. One businessman comes with the shiniest Rolex watch you've ever seen. You know that there is a bid coming up for some kind of project within which he's firmly placed. Common sense will tell you, maybe in this instance, even
say
forget
no.
culture, just say
no. Because it would have been abundantly clear.
Yes.
The lawyers will say apparent on the face of the record that this person's sole interest in giving you that gift is the contract that is coming up. You see? So, I mean, I think it would be too simplistic to just say, don't receive. It would be too and unfair.
Tact is necessary in
it's
all
necessary.
of this. Tact
it's necessary. So, context, specificity, clarity, I think they are important. So that is where I will agree with him on the landing. But, you know, the judges will always agree on the conclusion, but give different reasons to the conclusion.
Different approaches.
So I think that is it.
Helen,
now,
okay.
Let me finish with this paper. It says that Cozy, that's still on Daily Guide newspaper,
okay.
Front page. Cozy visits Adentan flood victims. University Senior Staff Association declare indefinite strike. Is the season here again? Okay, so that's it for Daily Guide newspaper. Daily Graphic, I have Daily Graphic. Okay. Governor explains economic gains. Our governor is a fine man, don't you agree?
I completely agree.
But Ghana, we are all fine men and fine women. We are all fine men and fine women.
Disagree with that?
The way she said...
I was trying my field. You know, I've been battling a sinus issue or two.
Only Jah is Christian. Sixtus, continue for me.
What mamia, you can ask our social media people. Does Ghana have the best fine men?
Hey, don't ask that. You don't want your feelings to be hurt. Let me just help you right there. I don't want to hurt your feelings.
It's like, Helen.
Mamia, don't ask again.
Don't ask. I beg you. All right.
All right. So on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper,
right.
Governor explains economic gains. CJ impeachment. Supreme Court throws out another injunction. Page 13 of the paper carries that story. And removal of beggars. GIS repatriates 925 people. Arrests put on hold for lack of space. Lack of space. It's a matter. Drivers, commuters react to 15% fare reduction. We will see things on Saturday.
It's not small fight to fight. It's not small fight over 20%, 30%. Some will be you did it. It's not small fight to fight.
At all.
That's why Alhaji Moro, he's the PRO, GPRTV. He says, please, when Saturday arrives, he says, no fighting, please. He says, don't beat anybody.
Don't beat the driver, don't beat the
He said,
mates.
don't beat anybody.
We will not beat them, but when they increase fares and they come to collect the 20%, do they report us to police?
Alhaji Moro says, Abotre, just on Saturday, let's just take it easy.
To protect his people.
We will not fight them, but
you know some of the mates, their mouths are painful.
Charlie, it reminds me of some story. So Omar has come to sit in the vehicle early morning. This guy is the one wants to go to work. And the driver, anywhere we are, the man is stopping. Anywhere we are, the man is stopping. The man is complaining. The mate is ashamed also. If you mate now, I mean, open time for ambulance.
Killer. What did the woman say?
This is seriously, I'm talking to you.
This is where the glass shatters. And then you get the drum rolls.
Every bus stop, this driver will stop. They make to go and roam. Non-existent passengers will shout to his hand. We spend like
you see that nobody is coming,
minutes.
but the mate is shouting.
He's out of the car. No, he came back. The woman is talking inside. So one bus stop, the woman said it again. I looked at it. Man, open time for ambulance.
And I'm sure the woman, being an elderly person, the mate was measured. This was a measured response.
When the mate said it, everybody in the car wanted to laugh.
So that is where the fight will come. Some of the mates, their moms, it's like they've used a blade to cut you.
I'm still in shock.
Someone will do wow. You pass through that.
So that story is on the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper, and it's written by Juliet Appiah-Ampofo, and the picture is so telling. I love this picture. Love this picture.
Yeah.
Juliet, well done. I
Great
love
picture.
this picture. Yeah, it tells the story. And regional minister says she's reactivating the task force that will decongest Accra. We are here.
Oh, all right.
That's red line tax force. They say they have drawn red line. Don't cross red line. If you cross red line, 2K.
I saw a lot of altercations yesterday as the task force continued its work. But I do want to say sometimes police men in particular, I have never seen a policewoman slap somebody. Maybe I just sometimes appear a bit slap happy.
Right.
I know the gentleman was being
going about slapping people.
No, this is
There's a gentleman in one of the videos.
Yes.
Is he a police officer? He's a task force member.
But you know,
oh,
those
is it that one?
You know, those tax force men are more powerful than the police. They're more powerful than the
They
police.
come from within them, so they know the rudiments of the job.
not the one that we've seen quite prominently, the task force guy. I know who you're referring to, but yesterday there was a gentleman being a bit stubborn. Next thing you know, he's chopping slaps from the police. Can we find some de-escalation tactics? Every time that appears to be the only method of control. I don't know. I don't know. I
don't think slapping people is like when we spoke about the Honorable King Zuba and his approach.
Yeah.
It cannot be. Yes, off the records, there's these conversations that we all have and all say that
like don't be stubborn and all of that.
If you do, but officially, you are in uniform. You are going about your duty as an officer of the law. Then you are resorting to slapping people.
I remember COVID.
Really?
We had some restrictions. You see somebody on the road, just because they have violated that restriction doesn't mean you can just slap them. I find it so distasteful. There are other ways to exercise your authority and control. Always slap it.
You say they are slap happy.
Yes. Let me take you to the Ghanaian Times.
Right.
Interior Minister flags 338 conflict hotspots nationwide. And I know somebody will come and respond, you think here we do, that's how we do things here? No, it doesn't matter. Just because you've always done things a certain way doesn't mean that that is the right way to do things. Very good. Don't restrict cash payment. That's coming from
very good.
Professor Kwote. Kwashiorkor still ravages children after 92 years of its discovery. Kwashiorkor is when you eat too much carbohydrates, isn't it? Lack of protein in your diet.
Yes.
And then you get that swollen hard belly. It's still around after 92 years of its discovery. Poor nutrition, we know, contributing to that. Also, the BNFT this morning, inflation, April producer price inflation drops to 18.5%. That's on producer price inflation only. Other metrics are maybe not as sexy. I think food inflation is still one of our biggest headaches in particular. I'll get you the details.
It needs spiritual intervention.
Why is that?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that our food...
Food is pricey, yo.
Yesterday, I was my somewhere. Then I saw nice looking pepper and tomato. I said, let me buy some. The one mentioned the price. I said,
How much?
Dollar.
The price it mentioned, no, minimum was 150 Ghana. So 100 cedis and 150 Ghana. And she was giving me the, should I say differences, different types? So there's the Bulgar or Nabrongo one, there's the Accra one, and there's the Burkina one.
Burkina one. I'm sure the Burkina one was the most expensive.
And when I said Arnold, and you see pepper, and well, to be fair, it was fresh and looking sweet. Pepper that we can farm in Ghana. There should be no reason why you should be buying pepper 60 Ghana. There should be no reason, because it's something that even at the backyard we can easily do. So maybe we should go to the Agric Ministry and ask them, what is the approach to encouraging and promoting even the backyard gardening? Some of the things that we can easily grow. I mean, one of the successes of the Achampon regime, Operation Feed Yourself, it's one policy that people say made him one of the best that this country has seen. That there was a deliberate campaign and policy to ensure that what you grow, what you eat. So that the tomato, the pepper, the vegetables, lettuce, green pepper, cabbage, those things, that we can easily grow them. So I think that the Agric Ministry should really look at it from that angle as well, and that might also address part of the food inflation problem, because it simply doesn't make sense the way prices of food.
Although we grow these things here, there may be other factors influencing the prices. For instance, the price of inputs that may have to be imported to tilt the farm in Ghana. You understand? So fertilizers, for instance.
If we are three in
so
studio.
that's what the deputy one of the reasons given by the deputy agric minister.
We are three of us here.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a tomato tin behind your house, in your yard, you have something somewhere that's a small place that you can easily pluck tomatoes and you pluck pepper and you get your even carrots or cabbage, those things daily, everyday things that you use. I have my place, Helen has a place. You think that the woman will sell a small bowl of, I say bowl, bucket, it's not bucket, that thing that they do. I don't know the name.
Yeah.
Is it Olonka? Olonka. But I think it's smaller than Olonka.
Olonka, small boy.
Sometimes it looks like a pail that you use to fetch water to buy, that kind of size.
That's it, no. Yes. There's no way the woman selling tomatoes will sell that thing for 150 Ghana, because she knows that a vast majority of the people can easily get that. That's what I'm saying.
I get it. But will it mean that the demand will not be there?
Oh, how can the demand not be there? It will be there. So, these are things we use daily.
I mean, even if we have our farms, we have what we need. Will it affect the demand for a product in the market?
Yes, it will.
So it means
it will affect, and that will affect the pricing.
So that's what I'm asking. But it still does not change the fact that although we have it, we have our own, we'll not be depending on her and all of that. There are people who, regardless, who maybe they sell food, they are into mass production, they'll need other things from her, and then she'll also need other inputs, fertilizers, she'll need farm hands, she'll need other resources. So they're all.
I agree with you. I'm just saying that there's another approach to dealing with the food inflation that we are so concerned with, which could be that, and I am no expert in agri, but I'm just saying that if more than half of the population in Accra is able to source these things from within their homes, grow them, then it will go a long way to affect the market price of the same vegetables that we are talking about. Maybe when you go to buy your yam may be expensive. That is because the yam has to come from somewhere into Accra. You get it? So that will be a problem. But the basic, the daily things that we need, your vegetables, there's no reason we should be buying that bowl of vegetables for tomatoes for 150 Ghana.
150 Ghana.
No. And they will still lament on top. That's always my frustration. You are selling the tin so high, and you are still lamenting on top.
But they say they are buying.
As they are tying the rubber. As they are tying the rubber for you,
what see me pa?
What's the name?
You have cheated me.
Wait to see me.
Okay.
Let's get into some more topics this morning. Helen, do you have any for us?
Yes, let me take you to the BNFT. I don't know, have I already? No, I haven't already.
No,
done
you
this.
have not.
Okay. I talked about April producer price inflation dropping, and that took us on the path of a food conversation. BOG overhauls monetary tools in a bid to boost credits and improve transmission. GRA doubles down on AI ML to combat tax leakages, as former finance minister warns reforms alone are not enough. On the back page, Otumfuo backs poultry sector revamp to reduce forex dependency, and that's another area that we should be keeping a keen eye on. We know that the poultry industry hasn't done too well, with some, I think it is over 70% of our poultry consumption coming from imports, which is not great. GCB Bank triumphs at Maiden Ghana Executive Awards.
They say that the SNIT hotels, they are no longer for sale,
Which ones?
The infamous SNIT hotels, the one Mr. Champion was looking for.
Okay. That was all put on hold, wasn't it?
Yes.
Is it back on sale?
No, it is no longer on sale. That's
Okay.
according to... So I'm reading that story from the New Republic newspaper. John Dramani Mahama's research agenda is kicking into high gear as a new boss at Ghana Pension Powerhouse. It has dropped the bombshell. None of their properties are going up for grabs. His name is Kwesi Afre Baini. Yeah, so it's good news. It was put on hold,
That's
but
right.
now there's finality, if you like that. No, we're no longer
And also,
selling.
this government has given the indication that there will be, I guess, no sale of state property. I don't know whether
Yes.
that's the final cap. I don't know whether it's no sale of state property
Appointees,
to
not-
appointees
yes.
or no sale of property full stop. I don't know.
No, appointees.
Appointees, okay.
Appointees are not allowed to, even if it's an open tender, people are bidding for something. Don't bring yourself.
Okay.
And
Once you
don't
are
let
an
somebody to come and
appointee,
represent you.
You
either.
know,
Yes.
once you're an appointee, be an appointee.
Okay. Focus on that one.
Focus on that one.
There are other big businessmen who are also in the space who can give us bang for our buck. But what if you are the best, the creme de la creme?
That what if
Maybe
gonna happen?
you have hotels, so you are a big baller in the space. You have the knowledge. Anyways,
We'll source the knowledge, but we'll not sell it to you. We'll let you be.
hey, you come to me for consultation.
Yeah,
For God and country.
Come and help us make the thing better. We'll not say come and buy it and go. It does not work like that. Sister, do you have any stories for us?
Stories have me.
Tell us some.
You didn't go to bed early, that's why. That's your main issue. You didn't go to bed early.
Stories have me. But the other headline about her leadership, what is it?
Oh, okay, I see one paper right on the side
No,
there
I'm
with her
looking for
picture
the
on it.
one about the her leadership going to court, asking the people, the court to stop
Okay, I don't have that.
two of the.
I think
read it,
think
or
it's
Crosby
in.
read it.
Yes. I see her picture on a few of the pages over there, but I haven't.
It's here.
Okay, there we go. There
Yes,
we go.
Sisters has
Really
it.
good. CJ Tokono sues government over suspension, and that story is on page 3 of the paper. I mean, it's something that we'll be speaking to our resource persons about. It says, story is written by Jibril Abdul Razak, big man. The legal battle against the suspension of Justice Gertrude Tokono as Ghana's Chief Justice has taken another turn as she has filed a suit challenging her suspension and the inclusion of 2 Supreme Court justices on the committee probing the 3 petitions filed against her. An application for interlocutory injunction attached to a writ filed at the Supreme Court is seeking, among other things, an order restraining the committee set up by the president to inquire into the 3 petitions against her from proceeding with an inquiry, the execution of the terms of reference of the committee, or taking any action in connection with the purported determination of a prima facie case against her, made against her until the hearing. and final determination of the writ. She is also asking for an order restraining Justices Gabriel Scott Puaman, Chairman, and Samuel Adibu Esiedu, Member, from presiding over or participating in proceedings of the committee appointed by the President to inquire into the 3 petitions. She avers that by Articles 23, 1466 and 7 and 296A and B of the Constitution, Justice Puaman is not qualified to be a chairman or member of the committee probing the petitions against her on account of having adjudicated and given various rulings in favor of one of the petitioners, Daniel Ofori, in actions filed at the Supreme Court. In terms of Justice Adibu Esiedu, she avers that his appointment on the committee is unconstitutional because he had already sat as a member of a panel of the Supreme Court to hear an application for interlocutory injunction filed by a Ghanaian citizen challenging the petitions initiated against her. Justice Tokono has also decided to waive her right to an in-camera hearing, arguing that she is entitled to a public hearing in the 3 petitions, calling for her removal as the Chief Justice. She also argues that the failure to serve her with a judicious determination of a prima facie case before appointing a committee to purportedly inquire into the petitions for her removal as Chief Justice constitutes a violation of her right to substantive administrative justice and fair hearing. Helen, listen to that. Right to substantive administrative justice and fair hearing, rendering the entire proceedings initiated null and void. This suit was filed, so this is now a background, and but this is a sum of the process that has been filed by Her Ladyship at the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Says that, bring it on.
But how is it looking like? What message is this suit sending, and what has been the reaction of legal experts in relation to this? It's divided so far.
Her own?
Yes, her own. It's divided so far from what I've listened to. It's, is she testing the waters, or she's really...
No, you cannot be testing waters in matters like this. No. And for me, the intriguing part is the waiving of the right to in-camera hearing.
Okay.
And I honestly don't know whether she is in a position to even waive that, because it's a constitutional guarantee for the office. I don't think it's about the occupant of the office. Well, that is another legal debate. And I'm sure it will become, it may come up in the court as to whether as a student of the law, that's the question I'm asking. Does Her Ladyship Gertrude Tokono have the right or the option to waive the right to in-camera hearing, being a constitutional guarantee for the office that she occupies? What that tells me is that there's something about this case that she believes in. And she believes that even if she won't get victory at the end of the day,
right,
we all who are keen followers of the process will get to hear firsthand what the facts, at least on her side, are. Because so far, all that we have seen are things that are against her. But we have not seen the part of the story that falls on her side. So that may be a reason for asking that, yes, constitutionally, this hearing should be in camera, but I don't want that to happen. I want a public hearing, bring cameras, let the process be in the open, so that every Ghanaian everywhere will follow the process and get to know what happens. It's like the waivers we had in the election petition cases. Typically, the court will not be opened up to the cameras. But in the election petition cases that we have seen, the two of them that we have seen, presidential, I mean.
And indeed, some of the speaker versus...
yes, some of
the
those
speaker versus
cases,
the judiciary case.
The parliamentary
the
cases
three
that
members
we have
of
seen.
parliament, yes.
Yes, we saw that the the doors of the courts were open to the cameras,
right?
The lenses of the cameras. But as to whether, I mean, it's an interesting constitutional debate that I am waiting to listen to and to learn. And the example that may come up would be in the family law courts. There's a guarantee of the privacy of the child, for instance, or parties in a matrimonial case, for instance, because the court is always interested in protecting the best interest of a child. It will not open up a case involving a child to the public.
That's right.
So you hardly would see a court sitting, having an open court sitting. By that I mean sitting in open court, allowing people to walk in and out as they otherwise would walk in and out and listen in to other cases. You hardly will see that. And that is because there's a deliberate attempt to protect the interests of the child. So I'm wondering whether those kinds of rights can also be waived. And I'm asking these questions because I'm trying to stimulate the conversation. So can the court say that a constitutional guarantee protecting an office and ensuring that maybe there are some secrets that should not be out there in the public domain?
Okay.
Another reason why in-camera hearings are sometimes ordered. So if we were to lift that, are we promoting the virtues that the Constitution seek to protect? Again, does the court even have the power to do that? As a student of the law, I'm asking, can the court even say that a certain constitutional guarantee should be waived? I'm wondering.
Well, maybe, again, we'll get the legal brains to explain that to it. But if a stakeholder, if one of the people involved in the matter is suggesting it or is asking for it, and then if you, the other party, is also open to it, it should be easy for the court to do that, shouldn't it?
I'm not sure it should be that easy.
Because it is constitutionalized,
provision.
right?
That's where my difficulty is.
Fair enough.
Because the job of the court is to enforce the Constitution, not to give reason for provisions of the Constitution to be set aside. That is why you would often see in a lot of legislations that where a particular provision of a legislation contradicts with a provision of the Constitution, the provision of the Constitution will supersede or will override the provision of the legislation. So there are reasons why these guarantees are there and they are constitutional. So I'm wondering if a court can even do that.
It suggests that maybe the suspended CJ may be far-reaching, maybe reaching too far.
No. I mean, whom am I? I'm but a mere student. I beg you. I'm just.
There are
just saying
other
that
demands.
the law is the law, and the law is testable. The law it will become an interesting.
So
case.
again,
I think
she could be testing the waters.
Well, Well, I'm wondering.
There are other demands as well, Sixtus, when you're reading it, that she has issues with the empaneling as well.
Yes. So she talks about two specific justices of the Supreme Court, Justice Puaman and Justice Sesiedo.
Yes.
And she says that in the case of Justice Puaman, Puaman has presided over cases and rendered decisions in cases brought by one of the petitioners. Again, I'm wondering. So let me start from this, looking at it from her lens. There's a principle that is called bias. It's whether there is the likelihood that a judge hearing your matter will be biased against you. Because the primary duty of the court is to ensure justice. Fairness. So if you are a party in a matter and you strongly are convinced that the judge sitting on your matter is not likely to give you a fair hearing, is not likely to afford you an opportunity to be heard, is not likely to approach the case with an open mind. You, as the party who so feels, you also have an opportunity or remedies in the same court to ask the court, to ask this particular judge to remove himself or herself from that case, because you are entitled to fair hearing, another constitutional guarantee. So it's a right that everybody who goes to court has. It's available to all of us who are users of the courtroom. And each one of us can activate that right at any time when you have evidence that there is a real likelihood of bias. That's the test. It is not that, and again, let me go back to the election petition case. It's a case that was open to the public, and I'm sure that a lot of us can easily recall. That's why I keep using that particular case. You would recall that that issue also came up. Whether one of the justices was going to be fair, was not going to be biased in the matter. And I do recall that Justice Tokono, no, she was CJ. No, she wasn't CJ.
No, she was not CJ.
Eninyabwa was CJ.
Yes.
Justice Tokono.
Election petition 20.
The last one.
Okay.
The Mahama one. Right? So it's always the concern of the party in the case that he or she wants a fair hearing. And if the party feels that he or she is not going to get a fair hearing, it is his right, it is her right to ask the court to remove the person. So that would be the basis or the principle upon which her ladyship is bringing this matter.
Right.
Well, I'm sure that when we go into the rates and all of that, we may see more to it, more reasons to it. But that would be the legal principle. Now, in determining that, the court will also ask, the mere fact that Crosby, you and I, we eat fufu together at a certain joint every Saturday, does that mean, and I have a case before you against Helen, does that, the fact of you and I eating fufu necessarily mean that you are going to take my side in the matter against Helen?
Maybe
that's the question the court will be asking.
Maybe the bias could be perceived. It should not only be in real terms. And
real likelihood.
So, I'm talking about real and perceived bias.
No. I'm saying the principle is real likelihood of bias.
Okay.
So that goes beyond the perception.
Yes. So the court is not concerned with perception. The court is saying that Helen is a party in this matter. And Helen feels that the fact that you and I eat fufu together, you will not be fair to her in this matter. So the court will be asking the question, the fact that you and I eat fufu together, does that mean that you cannot see beyond our fufu and give Helen a fair hearing in the matter? That's the question the court will be asking. And
if you're looking at it from all sides, well, like you said, real likelihood, it applies to both areas.
Explain. How?
So, I eat fufu with you. Helen has a case, and then she thinks that because of the facts that we do together, she may not get fair judgment. Now, is there a likelihood that it can happen?
Is there a real likelihood?
Yes, is there a real likelihood that it can happen?
That she won't get a fair hearing?
Yes.
So that is what the court would then be called upon to determine. And that would be based on the particular set of facts. The petition that Adenta Kumi sent to the presidency, asking for the recusal of, is it the same justices? In that petition, it was said that 2 of them were seen somewhere with a lawyer to one of the petitioners. Correct. So, again, the question would be, based on the specific set of facts that are presented by by Adenta Kumi, asking, so they were seen in the same hotel or restaurant. It's a restaurant. They were seen in the same restaurant. Yes. Were they sitting together? Yes. No. Were they sitting apart? Yes. No. Were they having a hearty chat? Yes. No.
Okay.
Were they too familiar? Yes. No. So this particular specific set of facts presented before the court is what the court will use to then determine whether there's that real likelihood of bias that the judge would be swayed to your side, to my side, because he is my fufu eating paddy. What if it just so happened that you and I both love, cherish, and appreciate the same joints, but we actually we don't go there together? You go and eat your fufu, I go and eat my fufu.
But we just go there together, we talk as friends, but it does not mean that because you're my friend, Impono, I may do bad against Helen.
That's the other level of the argument, legal argument that has been made.
Yeah.
That is the judge able to look beyond his personal interest and relationships?
Right.
But of course, we are humans. We are only humans.
So we're also professionals.
Exactly. So whether there are cases that have been dismissed on that ground, that the fact that you and I go to the same church doesn't necessarily mean that Helen would not find favor in your court against me. We are in the same church, yes, but do we even know each other in the same church? So it's also another legal argument that has been made.
Right.
There's another legal argument that's, I think that's the principle of necessity, that, look, this job, there's only this man who can do it. You say he's likely to be biased against you. If we remove him, who else can do the job? But, well, I'm not sure that will arise in this case. I'm not sure that will arise in this case. Because the members of the committee, there is no constitutional definition of the members of the committee. Only thing is that the other members of the committee should be non-lawyers, correct? So any justice of the Supreme Court could be called upon to sit on this committee.
Right.
So that principle of necessity may not necessarily arise. But I raise it only to say that, again, it will depend on the set of facts that are presented.